All right. Clock is about to start the countdown. Through text on Discord, yes, this is indeed the first match of either the top bracket or the lower bracket. This is just, in general, the spicy beginning to a wonderful tournament hosted by glockinmytoyota. Shout out to glockinmytoyota for hosting this.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, I'm going to give him a countdown real quick. 3, 2, 1, go.
And we are off to the races. Yeah, you can announce that in the main server, Monkey.
All right, so here we are. Small tournament. Holy moly. This is crazy. For the record, we have Peter's audio, just so everybody's aware. We're using Peter's audio here.
The timers are swapped, but you know what? Worse things have happened.
Oops. There we go. Are the timers swapped?
They are.
Oh no, what happened?
It's because the game feed was backwards, then you changed the names.
I can fix it, I can fix it.
Not to call it the restreamer.
No, I can fix it. It was definitely my fault.
Bumpy, of course, the biggest decider of who is actually going to win the race. Both get 50s. Okay, luckily it's still even. We don't have a decider yet. So, as you guys will come to know through this tournament, there really isn't a lot to talk about in World 1, except the gameplay actually totally contradicts what I just said. Interesting difference right there between going for green goal switches that Peter did and going for blue goal that WR1 did. While it is a second faster on average to go for green goal and switches, I understand and respect WR1's decision to go for blue goal because you do not want to death this early in the run. If you're more comfortable with blue goal, that's what you want to do. The entire meta for tournaments is not necessarily the fastest thing you want possible, but you really just want the things that you're most comfortable with and the things that's not going to make you sweat. And you know what? If green goal switches make you sweat, you know, more power to you. Let's go.
Oh, we just double exit gamed. Oh no.
The back-to-back, let's go. Holy moly. That's a classic.
The back-to-back, the turning nerves. Oh, here, let me stream my OBS to Discord. I forgot to do that.
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry, I don't want you to be on a delay.
That's okay.
Should be good. Hopefully it's not too choppy. Are we seeing everything at the same time now?
You are still not live to Discord to me.
What? I swear I'm live in the Discord, the commentary booth. Here, let me do this. Maybe you can see it.
Oh, perfect. Bam.
Can you see it now?
Yes, we're there.
Beautiful.
Magic.
Kumibito's player needs refreshed. And I'm getting an ad. Twitch is awesome.
This is awesome. All right, Peter going for the spicy backup on curved bridge. One more frame to go.
They got it.
Nailed
Wow.
it.
First try CBF. That's a 249 in a race. That is crazy.
And that's a huge confidence boost.
Yeah.
Because that is easily the hardest par strat in the entire game. And being able to just get that out of the way, especially when these guys are feeling the nerves a little bit. You already know. The first race of the tourney, they are feeling a little bit. So the fact that Peter can do that with the possible nerves that he has, he's feeling good about it. He's popping off in his head. You already know it.
Kumibito stream giving the double ad at the end of World 1. That is actually crazy. I love this.
Hey,
this Twitch
double
channel.
exit game is going to be, double ad. There's no other way that
he is on Eaton floor, which makes me think that he probably got CBF.
Oh, yeah, and first try, considering he double exit gamed,
Yes.
which is about, a stage apart.
Yeah,
at
exactly.
that point.
So we still have a race. That's awesome. Because oftentimes when one player hits CBF first try, it completely, can just make the race lopsided.
Super lopsided.
Peter goes for pauseless coaster and race and gets it. Wow, that's pretty gutsy.
He was the first person to really push for that strat. He was the person who really practiced it and kind of presented it to the community. And the community basically said, Peter, you're dumb. We're not doing that. And finally, after years or months of convincing, he finally changed all of our minds.
True.
But you can,
Third
like I said,
exit game.
The nerves.
Yeah, I think that's all it is. Like, that's neither of them have made any gameplay mistakes yet. As I say that, of course, Kumibito dying on bumpy check. My bad, commentator's curse. But up until that point, they had both pretty much played identically, other than switches. And the exit game's really making the difference so far.
I think Peter's going to get a nice IGT on this gravity slider.
Yeah.
Taking advantage of his, you know, recognizing he has enough speed to take first ramp, saving a full second with it.
True.
That's nice.
47's always so pretty, especially in this setting where every second matters. So Peter actually putting on quite a clinic in Worlds 1 and 2 so far, and just hasn't made any mistakes, which is awesome to see. We also getting a nice gravity slider, it looks like. Oh, not as nice as it looked. I lied. I lied. Don't listen to me. It was actually quite not good. The 45. It looked like a good ramp, but it wasn't.
Another rather new strat coming up on Peter's screen, the alternative frames. Do you know who we can credit for this? I forget. Haruki, right? That's my guess.
I believe the first set was actually found by Nambo, and then backups were found by Haruki and 42 Guy. I think that's the proper creditage on that. So Peter, again, sub 530 out of World 2, which is what you love to see. 529 is a very good race time. And yeah, Monkey, that 53.6 is a backup set. So World 3 is interesting because there's a lot of like small decisions you can make in a race setting to make things more safe, notably on things like dribbles or you know, pausing safely on reversible gear, and there's just a lot of decisions that you can make to make World 3 safe, and I'm interested to see how many of those Peter's going to take.
Oh, super fast reversible gear, 0.23.
Yeah. Wow.
That's like maxing that out.
Yeah, and he lightning paused the frame, so must have been one of the better RTAs you can get, period.
Weekly Veto kind of throwing out some potentially outdated technology, kind of hitting on the left side of organic form, but you know what? Again, whatever you're comfortable with, that's what we're going to see from these players. You're not going to see really anything that they're not going to be comfortable messing up.
True. Racing is all about comfort. Peter going for the 52 dribbles adjustment backup. Stream is buffering.
Pause
This is so amazing, and he didn't get it. Oh, man. It's Peter's bitrate, to be fair. This one isn't on me. Peter is streaming at very low bitrate because he's Peter.
And as we all know, he has that wonderful Canadian ISP doing him dirty.
True, yeah. His stream is actually chugging right now.
And now we're pretty much even.
Yeah, Peter's struggling on dribbles a little bit there, but he gets out just as Kumibito gets in. So we're back to pretty close, just a stage apart.
Yeah.
Kumibito hits the 18 and plays it very safe, which not surprised to see. Definitely probably the right call here, especially after seeing what happened to Peter.
I feel like throughout this race, it's kind of going to be a theme. I think we're going to see a lot of 2020 meta from Peter, and we're going to see a lot of like 2019 meta from Weekly Veto, and we're going to see how that plays out. You know what I mean?
True, yeah, it's a big difference maker. Just the small optimizations can make a big difference.
Yeah.
Wow, but Peter's internet is not getting any better. This is actually pretty unfortunate. I think because it's been buffering so much, we think Peter is not as far ahead as he is, because looking at the timers, there is quite a discrepancy there.
Yeah, he's probably 2 stages ahead.
Yeah. See, and now I'm torn on whether or not to refresh his stream, because if I refresh it and get an ad, I'm going to feel like a clown again.
You get another Kool-Aid ad?
Yeah, right?
Kool-Aid man action?
But I want it to also be an accurate reflection of where the race is, so I don't know.
Hey, maybe we got to give a shout out to our sponsors, you know what I mean? And maybe taking a little ad break is, you know, worth it.
True. I'm gonna refresh the player on Peter's stream. It shouldn't get an ad, but if it does, I apologize. Oh wait, I think I'm subbed to Peter, so actually I think it should be fine. Yeah, it's fine. And now the timers are back to normal. Shout out to Sub Perks coming through in the clutch.
Reminder you to use your Prime Gaming on your favorite streamer.
True, especially if they're in races. It makes life a lot easier.
Especially.
And now we have Kumibito going through some serious buffer. This is crazy. This is unfortunate. I'm going to refresh his player, and hopefully it gets better. Okay, I think we're back. Whoa, Kumibito's stream is offline. I think Kumibito's internet might have crashed.
We are going to hope that it just... Yeah, there we go. No problem.
Is he back online?
Back online. Easy money. Like nothing even happened.
Perfect. Okay. And the timers are actually pretty accurate, too. I'm not going to mess with anything. I'm not refreshing anything. We're just going to let it rock.
I wonder if Peter's going to go for...
Wow, he went for pauseless D-Maze and he got it! The swag!
That is wonderful. I was wondering if he was going to go for it.
Yeah, it seems like Peter is just kind of embracing the... I haven't seen him hold back on anything so far. Like, it seems like he's boosting triangle holes, he's going for pauseless D-Maze. It seems like he's really just throwing it all at the wall and hoping everything sticks, and it has so far.
That 2020 meta is really going to show itself throughout this race. I will guarantee that.
No doubt. Green launchers here, definitely a bit of a breaking point. He misses it, but he should be able to back up into blue goal here.
Yeah.
Pretty comfortably.
I think that was honestly, like we keep saying, and we're going to be saying this throughout the tournament, that looked like a nerves thing, because if I'm being honest, he wasn't even close there. That was 100% really far wide. That was really far wide to the right.
Did you see that that save by Kumibito on... Dynamic Maze? He got a weird bounce off the pause and got a really cool save. That was awesome to see. But he's keeping up. Peter, I think World 4 is one of the big separation points where the difference between strats can really, like, create a big gap, you know, on things like coin slots or triangle
launchers,
holes, D-Maze, launchers, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, all those different things. Arthropod even.
Kumibito also doing a green goal setup, but realizes he's not going to get there, just decides to go up top and take blue instead. So both players end up with a pretty conservative finish on that stage, which is fine because neither of them died.
And honestly, launchers being arguably the scariest stage in the world, totally acceptable. I would take that with flying colors.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely.
If I were either of these players.
Ooh, Kumibito takes a bad bounce on 50 rando and gets kind of spit out in a poor spot. That's unfortunate.
Luckily, he doesn't die, though. He got pretty far up. I don't know if he was really in control of where he was going when he landed.
True. It does randomize you a little bit.
A little bit.
All right, so Peter getting out of World 4. 11:33 out of World 4. That is definitely not bad at all. And Kumibito not too far behind. He is basically seesaw bridges separates them, which is a long stage, but
we got a lot of race to go.
Yeah, with World 7, 8, and 10 still hanging out in the back. This race is definitely not decided.
Oh, he's going for it again. He has faith. He has faith
in the two-frame wormhole. Yeah, he's going for the two-frame. Looks like a good setup on that one. Yeah, when you get that speed bump, you're pretty much guaranteed to get it. Bonks off the party ball like a goofball, but he's fine. When Kumibito,
speaking of
go for it.
Speaking of goofy party balls, I'm gonna see if we can... Okay, good, because
nice.
The party ball and free fall can absolutely troll you.
Yeah, that one's a bit of a troll. So Kumibito making his way out of World 4 now, not too far behind at all. You know, it's always a deep breath of relief when you don't die on seesaw bridges, because dying at the end of that stage could just completely end the race.
Yeah. Whether it does literally by time or mentality-wise.
Exactly. The two tend to coincide. So we're seeing the wormhole frames come out from Kumibito here. Looks like he should be all good. Yeah, hits all the frames and nails the adjust. Perfect. Peter going for the left side bead screen strat.
Gets the wall.
And he got it!
Oh,
wow, he got it!
Beautiful.
Oh, the party ball.
We'll take it.
Yeah, we'll take it. Yeah, that counts. That counts. That totally counts. Oh, speaking of the free fall party ball from earlier, Kumibito takes a bad bounce off of it.
The save?
Looks like he should be able to save. Oh, that was so gutsy. Oh, that was so gutsy. Going for the wire there. We're going to see him try for blue goal again. Gets it that time, though. Almost perfect.
Nice.
And wow, another one with a bad party ball. Peter going into tower here. This one can definitely be a little bit annoying if you're not careful with it.
So it might have been hard to catch with Peter if you weren't paying attention, but we will see it with Kumibito soon. Peter skipped 5-7, and he does that because we always want to save the longest stage for last in any given world, because it lets the cutscene load. And basically, if you don't let the longest stage play last, then you're just gonna sit in a fatty load, just like basically waiting in dead air. So you'll see in a couple worlds that we leave the longest stage for last, so that, like I said, you can have the cutscene load. And another exit game.
Fourth exit game from Kumibito. It's 16 seconds or more lost to just exit games, which is obviously never what you want to see in race, but it's also part of the game and part of the nerves that you just have to be ready for.
Hashtag challenge mode propaganda. No.
True.
You do have two of the biggest challenge mode heads on commentary, so you may hear a little bit of bias from time to time. Not purposeful, though. Totally not purposeful.
So we've got Peter making a solid exit out of World 5. I believe it was a 14:35 exit, or somewhere around there.
Somewhere around there.
Oh, Kumibito unfortunately taking the fall on tower. Loses about 10 seconds. Hopefully we can get a second try and keep himself in it. Gets party balled. Okay, but he lands up top. He's fine. Oh no.
It's for some reason it's one of those. It's kind of like only having one chip. You can't just have one chip, and you can't just have one fail on tower. You need to have more than one if one's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's definitely one where if you die on it once, you tend to die on it more than once.
When it rains, it pours. Well said.
Ooh, Peter taking a rare party ball on Opera. Messes up the adjustment, but that is definitely the hardest part of the stage. It's adjusting into the goal. He cleans
Shocker.
it up. Oh, super glitch goal. Wow. Super glitch goal. Cleans it up, but by the hair on his chin. That was close.
Yeah, my goodness. Peter's counting his blessings on that one. He knows he got lucky, and when things like that happen to you, I feel like you almost focus up more because you're like, okay, that was my break, and I need to take advantage of my lucky break.
Exactly. You don't get moments like that multiple times in a run oftentimes.
No.
So oftentimes you got to think of it as like, I got away with it this time. I'm not going to get away with it next time. So time to straighten up. So Kumibito exiting World 5 here, heading into World 6.
Kumibito doing the classic. He has been known to type in chats mid-race, presenting the Bible thumbs to all of us, letting know how he feels. However, lucky for him, this is a best of 3. So
True.
Even if Kumibito gets beaten in this race, he has another opportunity to make sure that he can still win this match.
100%. Even if he's down, he's not out. That's for sure. And
that's for sure.
6, 7, 8. World 7, 8, and 10. I think are some of the biggest swing points where if you just mess up one or two things, you can completely tank yourself. So, obviously we hope Peter doesn't do that, but there is definitely still a way for Kumibito to get back in this. Is basically what I'm trying to say.
Yes, and if anyone was here during the last small tournament, we know that even if we get all the way to World 9 and someone is very behind. World 10 has an amazing way of having players choke in tournaments.
True, especially, invisible into creative by. That 1-2 punch is just something else. Peter also typing in chat saying, "You can do it, we."
You love to see the good sportsmanship.
Exactly. These two definitely have a lot of love for each other. And,
Absolutely.
I feel like we haven't mentioned yet that we said like 2019 versus 2020 strats, but we has been almost completely inactive in the RTA scene for, the better part of, 2 years. Or really over a year. So it's interesting to see, not only the effect of how much dormancy between now and then, but also, Peter being arguably the most active player in Monkey Ball 2, period.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we weren't able to catch it while it was happening, but Peter getting it the cleanest of Spiral Bridge first cycles, getting a 0.6 is pretty much the cream of the crop of what you're shooting for. Peter getting just that.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That was exactly what you're looking for on that stage. And that's one of the big ones, I was saying in World 7, how things can go completely wrong. And that is definitely one of them where if you miss it, it's just a real deflator. So very good to see Peter hit that one.
Mm-hmm.
Clean domino here.
Shoutouts to Switch Inferno being inarguably just the worst stage in Super Monkey Ball 2.
Very true. Peter unfortunately messing up the Civ backup adjustment. It can be a little tricky because it shoots you out at such a high speed. He just barely didn't put enough upright on it. But he gets it the second time, so he is back on track here in World 7. And Kumibito making his way into World 7. We're gonna get to see another attempt on Spiral Bridge here, which can be a big breaking point. Meanwhile, Peter doing Flock, the greatest pause strat of all time.
The OG. You know, we recently found out through some research done by some people coming up for a project that pause strats were actually found in a GameFAQs article just 2 weeks, count them, 1-2 weeks right after the game came out. So, you know, even though Flock is known as being the earliest pause strat found RTA viable in the actual game, used in speedruns, we were really using them since 2002, literally since the game came out.
True. Ooh, Peter going for 50 bracelets here in a race setting, which is super crazy. Crazy to see. He does mess it up one time, but let's hope he can bounce back and get a second try here. Very difficult angles off of these bracelets here. That one looks good, and he gets in. Nice. That's got to be one of the scariest tricks to go for in a race, right? That trick is just brutal.
It's unforgiving for sure. And we are seeing boosted quick turn.
Wow. Yeah, I think when I said, you know, Peter was just kind of throwing everything at a wall and hoping it all sticks, I think that's rung true. I don't think he's held back on a single stage.
No.
You know, thinking back, he did 55 cliffs, complex coin. You know, he tried for green goal launchers, ended up bailing out to blue goal because it wasn't the cleanest setup. But really, he's just gone for everything and hit most of it. And he gets out of double spiral. Wow. So that World 7 was, you know, one civ death away from being complete perfection, even in terms of strat play. That was awesome.
Yeah. So you'll notice that even though Weekly Vito and Peter aren't really lined up, he's playing double spiral pretty much at the same time. And that is because it's kind of a player's choice, so to speak, for which stage you want to leave last in the world. You can either leave that one or Civ, which is 7-5, and you're clearly seeing the difference between those two right now.
Yeah, it's kind of a, you know, known in the community as a bit of a legacy thing. Like a lot of the older players, and especially a lot of the older Japanese players, load manip Civ instead of double spiral. So it's interesting to see Kumibito doing that. It's almost like a blast from the past, and it really only loses about a second to doing double spiral. It's, you know, like you said, pretty much runner's choice, so it's just really neat to see.
Yeah. And we're going to see one of the most infamous strats in the entire game coming up on Peter's screen, Entangled Path. Will he get it first try? This is really kind of like the last big strat before we get into World 10.
Wow,
right in there.
First try, perfect. Yeah, the second half of World 8 and all of World 9 really is not too backbreaking. None of the tricks are absurdly difficult, except for pretty much warp pausing. That's going to be the other big one, 4-frame pause strat, but we will just have to see how that works out.
Absolutely.
So Kumibito making his exit from World 7 here. Definitely not bad last two Worlds from Kumibito. World 6 and 7 were both actually very clean. I don't think he messed up anything in World 7, which is awesome.
Yeah, he's been keeping up with Peter. He was definitely coming out of World 5, definitely not feeling too hot, was probably over a minute behind. But yeah, he hasn't let that gap widen at all, and we're going to see if that pays off, again, really in World 10.
Exactly. Like, that has to be your mentality if you're Kumibito in this situation, is just keep yourself in it till World 10 and then just deliver the greatest World 10 you can and hope that, you know, Peter has some missteps in there.
Yeah.
Oh, Peter not getting the collision on swing shafts.
Yeah, he's decided he doesn't want to do that again. He's like, all right, I learned my lesson.
Just kidding.
He didn't learn his lesson.
He went for it again.
For the fans.
Right? He got too much collision on that one, so went from no collision to too much collision. So here we see Entangled Path from Kumibito here. Hopefully he can get it first try, keep himself up in this World 8. Oh, just barely gets rejected by the party ball. An Entangled Path can often be one that, if you miss it once, you can miss it more than once, like you said earlier, when it rains, it pours. But Kumibito able to snap out of it and get it second try, which is huge.
Yeah.
And here we see warp pausing, one of the bigger pause strats here in the middle of the game. Can be a bit of a breaking point, but Peter, he knows his backups. And he nails it. Wow. That was an awesome World 8. Swing shaft, no collision was a little unfortunate, but, aside from that, very clean World 8.
Absolutely. Zero Jump's another pretty infamous strat, in my opinion. think a lot of people see that and they're completely awed just by the angle that you have to actually hit that goal, and it is quite a tight angle.
Yeah, it's like the mother of all falling strats, you know?
Yeah.
We see an unfortunate misstep here on trampolines from Wii, but he brings it right back and gets perfect trampoline second try. So again, Kumibito's done a really good job of, you know, when he messes something up or when something doesn't go quite right, he does a really good job bouncing back and getting it second try. He hasn't really had a like mental break so far, which is really awesome to see, especially because we have a whole nother race coming up after this.
Absolutely.
You gotta have that good mentality when you're coming in from a game one. If you lose game one, it's always good when you still have that strong mentality going into game two. Basically, what I'm trying to say. Peter kind of shredding through World 9 here. I'm gonna see if he goes. He does do the boosted flat maze, which makes it a little more difficult. Saves a little under half a second, but he gets it nice and clean.
Nice. Yeah, as we kind of said, we're seeing a lot of the 2019 meta from Wii, and we're gonna see, even though with no pauses, I always love to see some good movement on Warp. That's one of my favorite stages to just see pure, clean, unadulterated monkey ball action on.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the ones that it's kind of unfortunate, you know, that a pause strat's been developed for it because it's such a neat movement stage. It's unfortunate to see it go. Wii starting up World 9 here. See if he can get past serial jump. Nice, beautiful angle into the goal. And Peter preparing himself to get into World 10, which is going to be really, really interesting because obviously World 10 is the demon.
Ooh,
wow, great recovery.
Yeah, really good composure from Wii to be able to keep that together, because I feel like a lot of less experienced players would kind of spaz out and kind of freak out in that situation. But you could tell not only by the way that we reacted, but just the fact that he lived. He knows how to play this game. Absolutely.
True. Kumibito dropping some Bible thumps in the chat after that cross floors. And Peter with a really nice World 9 finish here. That was about as good of a World 9 as you can ask for.
Ooh. Wii Kumibito going really far wide to the right on chipped pipes.
Wow, great recovery on the second one there. That was really cute. I like
the double.
So here we have Peter entering World 10. Just got to get past training. The rest is easy. Kidding, obviously.
It's going to be really interesting seeing the pause strats, or strats in general, that Wii goes for. Because, like we've said, we haven't really been able to see what strats that he goes for, because we haven't really seen him active in a long time. So it's going to be interesting seeing the little differences.
True. Peter with an excellent finish on Gimmick, super good pausing, and a really good IGT finish as well, getting the 46.36. Wow.
Wow.
That was beautiful.
Ooh, nice backup.
Yeah, that backup knowledge is actually crazy on Guillotine, knowing the 15 set. It was really awesome. Wow, the wall boost on Disorder. Just saving every frame he possibly can.
And then somehow losing a tenth of a second.
Right? How is that? He did a wall boost and got 0.2 instead of 0.3. That's crazy. All right, so after 3D maze here, we see what I think most people would agree is the really hard stretch in World 10 of Labyrinth, Postmodern, Invisible, created by, and then Revolution's in there as well, but that one's pretty easy.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how the very end of World 10 really is just a couple multi-frame pause strats and then two pretty hard movement strats.
True. Peter getting past Labyrinth. That's definitely the first domino in the line.
Yeah.
And Kumibito making his way out of World 9, still keeping decent stride here. Definitely not falling too far behind Peter.
No, and keep in mind, this is the first seed, PetresInc, versus the 8th seed in this top 8 bracket, Wii Kumibito. So there is naturally going to be a little gap between them, just because Peter's PB is a 28-21, and Wii Kumibito's PB is, I believe, a 37-18.
Correct.
Yeah.
Nice. The game knowledge.
The game knowledge.
Ooh, Peter, not the cleanest angle on Revolution there, but makes it work anyway. He was definitely a little closer to the goal than you normally are in that stage, but made it work. And now Peter getting into the toughest 1-2 punch to finish up the run, invisible into created by. I've definitely seen some pretty hysterical endings to races before, so hopefully he can just finish strong and keep himself in it. Using the backup, nice. That was perfect.
Wow, and is he going to deliver on the first race a 29?
It looks like it. Wow, that's crazy. Peter coming out of the gate hot.
Yeah, for real. If I'm any of the other top 8 bracketers in this race and I see something like that just to start off, I'm feeling a little intimidated.
Right? That is
Peter starting off with a strong 1-0 finish.
29-44. Peter goes up 1-0 in the set. That is impressive. That was pretty domineering from Peter.
Letting him know who's boss.
So Kumbito probably going to finish up this World 10 to see some World 10 practice from him here, because that is super important for the next race, getting some crucial experience in on these stages, making sure you're ready for him for the next race.
Absolutely. Absolutely. At this point, if I'm Kumbito, all I'm thinking is, you know, the best that I can do is simply focus on myself and try to reduce the deaths that I have in the next race. Because I remember famously, PetresInc and Moyashi faced off in the last tournament that they had, and Peter has such respect for Moyashi. I think every rider has such respect for Moyashi that you wouldn't expect him to get a time lower or higher than like a 30, say like a 31 or a 32. And there was a point where Peter wrote himself off because he just kept dying. He wasn't really doing that well. He ended up getting like a high 32. But little did he know, if he kept at it and really kept strong mentally, he would have won, because Moyashi ended up getting a low 32. So, you know, even though Peter got a nice 29 this race, you never know what's going to happen. No one's perfect. Everyone's human. Anyone can get beat.
Exactly. Like, I think a really important thing to remember here is, you know, contextually, it looks like Kumabito, you know, is way behind, and Peter kind of, you know, cleaned house on this race. But Kumabito's on pace for, you know, high 32, which oftentimes that's enough. Like, that is good enough to win a lot of races.
Yeah.
And, you know, you were talking earlier about strat play in World 10, and I don't know if it's just because he knows it's already decided, but Kumabito choosing to do Pauseless Labyrinth and Pauseless Postmodern is really interesting.
Yeah, I don't so much mind the pauseless labyrinth. However, I'm gonna say I do kind of mind the pauseless postmodern. I wonder, I do wonder if it's just he hasn't taken the time to refresh himself on the frames, which it seems like he would have, because he had the knowledge of guillotine backups back in World 9. So, you know, you would think that he would just have the normal strat play for postmodern in World 10, but maybe not.
Yeah, I have a hunch it might just be because this race is already decided, and he just wants to, you know, finish
Get it over with.
Yeah, I just have a hunch that that's the case, because I feel like he wouldn't come to a tournament and do, you know, no pausing on Postmodern. That's just a weird stage to choose not to pause.
That, by the way, is not an easy adjustment to do. The frame before that, the 13 frame, has a really wide window, but he got the frame after that, and that is not a big window.
Well, Kumabito messing up the pause strat on Invisible here and choosing to go for Casual instead. We'll see if he goes for the S-clip, but yeah, something tells me that Kumabito is just trying to get this this World 10 finished and get on with the next race.
Probably. That is a good read.
Yeah, and he knows his invisible backups too. There's no way he's not pausing Postmodern. That had to just be a...
Oh, that was...
Or does
maybe
he?
not?
Maybe he doesn't know his invisible backups. Or maybe he only knows 40 and doesn't know 36.
Yeah. Personally, 0836 is my favorite backup, because you can get the fastest finish of it of any pause frames. So... Or any of pause frames, you know, on this stage here, Invisible.
Yeah, I actually watched your PB for reference on that one when I was learning it, and it really helped out.
It really helped out. Incredible source of information and inspiration. We're coming down to the last stage created by for Weekly Vito.
Oh, he's doing a pauseless too. And he nails it first try.
Ooh,
cool.
Nails it.
So that is race number 1. Peter, definitely with a bit of a dominant performance. The timers are a little a little inaccurate because I think Kumibito kind of mailed it in for game 1 at the end there when he knew that Peter had already finished. But
Yeah.
game 2, I'm hoping that Kumibito can keep that iron strong mental and maybe knock off Peter for a game. That'd be awesome. Okay, on go. 3, 2, 1, go. You should see them starting in just a moment.
I wonder if Peter's timer is gonna. Okay, kind of a.
Yeah, I think his stream might just be a
Almost
little
about
bit
to
delayed compared to Kumibito's. I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna refresh it. We're taking a gamble.
Might have to give a shout out to our sponsors, but you know what? If we do, that's okay. They deserve a shout out.
Oh, let's get out.
And as we saw, as the match went on, you know, he started off with 4 exit games, but in the second half, he didn't really have any exit games. I think Rito has settled in to his menuing, and I don't think we're going to see any exit games from either of these players this round.
Yeah, I think they're as dialed in as they can be, and I think we're likely to see some much cleaner play this race than the last one, across the board. That's generally just how it goes. I know that infamously, Moyashi historically his first race has been like not amazing, and then his second race is always like mind-blowingly good. Like I know he's had a couple rounds in previous tournaments where he has like a 31 the first race and then like a 28 the second race.
Yeah.
So definitely, if you're Peter in this situation, you just can't get comfortable ever compared to, you know, these other racers.
No, absolutely not. Every single person in this top 8 bracket is a killer, and you can't sleep on anyone.
For sure. Oh, we see a first frame from Kumibito on conveyors because he hit the side of the goal.
For those who don't know, the first 2 frames that the timer stops, you don't actually beat the stage. It takes the party ball actually being broken for the game to count the stage as completed. So that's why you always wait a tiny bit after we pass through the gold tape instead of seeing right when it actually breaks.
And that basically, you know, since you just have to replay the stage, that puts a direct stage separation in between them, as you can see here.
Yeah.
Kumibito putting in chat, first frame. So he trades the, you know, 2 exit games in World 1 for 1 first frame, which is pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
Sadly. Peter using pause spinning top here, and he gets it nice and clean.
Nice. Which is interesting because he's a big believer in doing basically as close to the spinning top aisle as you can with pausing. Basically just as a quick buffer on the first frame, and then is so comfortable with how the walls work that he just goes for it YOLO style.
Exactly. And Peter gets out of curve bridge again. Wow, amazing World 1. I just know that's a 241 in a race.
241.
That's amazing. Wow. That's like you're hoping for a 241 in RTA. Like in actual attempts. That's as good as you ask for.
Literally ties my gold.
Yeah, 241 is pretty much cream of the crop in World 1.
And interesting to note that we didn't go for them, even though we didn't see it, but based on his time, he definitely went for it race 1. I wonder what kind of changed in his mind, you know what I mean? I wonder if he really is trying to play more consistent in his mind, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
just because of the...
I think that might be it. I think you might be right.
Yeah.
Oh, Peter getting kind of owned by Eatonfloor, takes 1 death and then gets kind of owned on the second try, but gets out of it. He gets out of it okay. And I think that something that's going to be really interesting to see, you know, Peter's game plan, race 1 seemed to be just try everything, like do every hard strat and hope you hit all of them, which was pretty successful. But it'll be interesting to see if he can keep that up in race 2 and, you know, put on as strong of a performance as he did on some of the most difficult strats in the game. Pauseless Coaster being one of them here. His own strat. Oh! Called it. Oh. Called it.
That was a disgusting collision.
Yeah, that was really wonky collision. Hopefully he can clean it up second try here, and he does. Perfect.
And I mean, there is a reason why there's only, you know, 10 players in the world who have a 29. It is quite hard, even if you're going balls to the wall, to actually get a 29. So if he's able to replicate that performance, you know, we're going to see the fact that #1 seed PetresInc deserves to have the #1 seed.
Exactly. It's, races, consistency is everything. If you can consistently put up 29s, then you're, in a really good spot to just never lose.
Yeah, you're pretty much, that's all you need to win.
Yeah.
And insanely, again, we can't credit Peter enough, just getting a 29 right off the bat like that, insanely impressive.
No doubt. So, 2 players' timers synced pretty much directly up. There's only 1 stage in between them, which, considering, the World 1 antics with the first frame and Peter hitting CBF and Kumibito choosing to do movement instead, 1 frame between them is not that bad. I would not be upset with this at all if I were Kumibito.
Yeah. Ooh, but I'd be upset with that first round.
Yeah,
we're gonna see.
That's a 43? 43 maybe?
Yeah, probably 44, but...
Oh, still 45.
Okay.
Wow.
Oh, don't first frame that.
Oh, my goodness.
God.
Wow, I'm glad we both had the same idea.
And the first, 3... I mean, besides Curve Bridge, in the first 3 worlds, that is the worst stage to first frame on. So that would have just been blowing to the soul.
That would have been a shot to the heart.
We got that.
Would have been a shot to the heart for sure. So we see Peter here lining up these alternative frames again. Probably going to be able to knock him down, no problem. Tons of practice with this set. And he does. Beautiful. Peter waiting to do the stage select because he paused it a little quickly there. I don't think I want to get too far into why he did that because it's so menial and minuscule, but definitely cute to see it in a race.
Yeah.
All right, Kumibito not too far behind. Getting through alternative here, doing the fast forward strat. Definitely not, as flashy as alternative pausing looks, it only saves about 4 seconds, 5 seconds tops over just doing the fast forward strat. So not bad at all in terms of differential there. And we see Kumibito entering World 3.
Although, as we kind of saw last time, last race just between the time discrepancy, those strat differences are going to add up. Which is why it's even more important that, Kumibito is as consistent as possible. Again, makes sense why he decided to do Curve Bridge first cycle instead of the frames.
Yeah, I think he might realize that that's his out, is playing really safely and, hoping that things...
Not dying.
Yeah, exactly. Hoping that not dying is enough to steal one off Peter here. So Dribbles gave Peter some trouble last run. We'll see if maybe he can buff that out for this run. Oh, okay. Okay, that's fine.
That is the best worst case scenario.
Definitely.
By far.
Yeah, if something's going to go wrong on that stage, you want it to be exactly what happened there. Ooh, Kumibito playing it a little close on stepping stones there. I was worried he was going to get party balled, but he gets out of it, no problem.
Yeah, right. Classic for you to get hit by the party ball and sent straight down into the hole, causing probably the most frustrating death in World 3.
Yeah, it's up there. Definitely getting slam dunked by stepping stones party ball. It's no fun. So again, we see Kumibito doing the nice, safe, consistent dribble strat, but no doubt about it, that was as good as it gets if you're going to do that strat.
Scaring me with this menuing, bro. He's right on the right on the 3rd frame.
True.
He's keeping it close.
It's optimal.
Optimal menuing. You love to see it.
Super optimal menu. Oh, Peter with an exit game on Kirby option. Wow. And that's it's oftentimes exit games tend to happen on stages where you're not sure when or if you're going to get into the goal. Because you're a little focused on getting into the goal, so your brain kind of trying to do 2 things at once can oftentimes mess up the menuing. So I'm not totally surprised to see that on Kirby option because he was taking a really sharp angle into the goal. It's easy to make that mistake.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting optimization by Wii to boost on Kirby options. It really doesn't save time, and it's much easier to hold up. So interesting to see what he's comfortable doing and not comfortable doing on this more consistent race of his.
Yeah, it's neat, when you have a player who generally chooses to take the consistent route. It's interesting seeing the, sacrifices they're willing to make and the ones that they're not. And for Kirby options to be a hill that he's willing to die on is kind of odd because that stage can be very mean.
Yeah.
Downhill here. Good looking angle. Yep, gets in clean. That was actually a really solid World 3 from Kumibito. Safe strats, but gets out nice and clean. Junction, I don't mean to jinx anything, but you don't die on junction.
Unless you're trying to take it incredibly greedy, which neither of these players are doing in a race.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He'll take his 50.4 and he'll be happy with it.
Absolutely.
All right, so Peter going through Giant Comb here, getting some weird speed bumps, but it doesn't throw him off.
Always sketching me out with that kind of unorthodox setup, but if it works, it works.
Yeah.
Don't fix what ain't broke.
Yeah, exactly. That's one of those stages where there is a, quote-unquote best setup, but everybody kind of does their own thing. aside from a few players who stick with one route. And
their traditional movement is what you see Weed doing right now, kind of holding up the whole time until right before the comb.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. That's funny.
2 for 2 on positive dynamic base. Oh!
Wow, 2 for 2. That strat, basically what he's doing is holding up and then flicking upright for exactly 0.1 second. That's really the gist of that strat. So it's really difficult. It's a really precise upright flick, but he gets it no problem.
It is very precise, yeah. He's making that look easy, honestly. He's making that like everyone should just do that.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if he can get revenge on the green goal launchers here, because he definitely had to settle for a pretty slow blue goal last time, so I'm hoping he can bounce back. Nail it.
WeCanWeBeatO recognizing that he's going to first frame.
Nice, yeah. That was a very smart menuing decision by KamiBeatO. If he had stage selected there, it almost definitely would have been a first frame, so definitely the right call. So again, I said it last run, but it's important to mention again, the strat differences here in World 4 can make a big difference in a race, because Peter, going for that slightly boosted randomizer found by 42 guy, hitting green goal launchers, hopefully KamiBeatO can hit it as well. Now it's definitely a blue goal.
Oh, he got so much more friction than I thought he did.
Yeah, he did.
He went like, yeah.
That was crazy. But yeah, Peter nailing pretty much everything in this World 4. Pauseless dynamic maze, he got green goal launchers, he got high 50 randomizer, he nailed complex coin. He's definitely shredding one of the hardest worlds in the run right now, which you love to see if you're Peter, but if you're KamiBeatO, not so much.
Yeah, it's a bit scary.
Yeah. I gotta say, that was another really close menu on randomizer. KamiBeatO's menuing is pretty terrifying. He's cutting it super close on these. Going for the blue goal pause strat on coin slots here. He nails it.
Ooh,
that was
Peter
a weird
going
one.
For a super greedy clip on seesaw bridges. Unfortunately, taking a death. It is, however, important to take those clips at the beginning as greedy as possible to get a really fast IGT, which, of course, at a top level you want to be doing. But as you can see, obviously the faster you go into speedrun, the more risk involved.
Yeah, and this does look like a really good second try on seesaw bridges. Should be a clean 35 here. Yeah, 35.6. That is really, really good.
About as good as you can hope for in RTA.
Yeah, exactly. High 30, like low 36 is really the peak of that stage in RTA. And KamiBeatO instead choosing to go for no clips and take it more safely, which again kind of fits with the narrative we've been setting up this whole race.
Absolutely.
Peter going for the 2-frame wormhole again. He gets it. Nice.
Barely
very close. Yeah, he didn't get the speed bump, which means he didn't do the adjustment perfectly. But there are still situations where if you miss the adjustment by a little bit, you can still make it work. I'm glad to see that work out for him.
And these players are way closer than they were last time in World 5. We got an actual race here, folks.
Yeah, no doubt. And with Peter taking that unfortunate fall on free fall, we're looking really close.
Yeah.
It's also important to mention, I talked about how Peter really shredded through World 4, and KamiBeatO did as well. He just doesn't do strats that are as fast as Peter. But KamiBeatO taking no deaths in World 4, he just ended up with a slower launchers, coin slots, just slight strat differences really made the difference. But he shredded that World 4, which is awesome, because I think most top players would agree that World 4 is, top 3 hardest world in the run. So for him to for both players to shred through it like that is awesome to see.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, sketchy melting pot there, just to sneak in. Peter going for left side bead screen again. Oh, doesn't get rewarded. Wait, that was.
He was gonna let it ride.
Yeah, that was an odd decision to make. That was a really odd decision to make. Goes for it again, second try. Nails it that time, perfect.
Wow. The cojones on this man. You love to see it. Yeah, he's really doing this for the people. He's really doing this for all you guys watching at home.
No doubt. And, I'm glad he is, because these slight mistakes he's making have made this quite an amazing race, despite the fact that there was, at one point about 30 seconds of separation between these two or more. Now we're down to sub 10 seconds. These two are very close right now. That's a first frame jump machine. It's gotta be. It wasn't!
That's so crazy. He's getting this third frame so often, it's insane.
That was crazy.
I do not know how he's doing this.
Wow. All right, so here we have Tower, the killer of KamiBeatO last run. Hopefully he can get his revenge on it. Uh-oh.
I was about to say, these are the little things that can add up in races. When you correct the mistakes you made last time, it just makes you all that more confident to continue on that kind of path.
Oh, no.
Oh, and when it rains, it pours.
When it rains, it pours. You said it best last round. That's really what we're seeing right now. I guarantee we're going to see more Bible thumps in chat. Kumibito deciding to play it safe this time. You could tell he was trying to bounce off the higher part of the goal.
Ooh.
Wow, that's unfortunate. We had a really close race here. That definitely causes a large separation between the two, but things can still go his way. We do see a Bible thump come out from Kumibito in chat. Oh, man. So we got Peter heading into World 6 here. Sorry, what were we saying?
No, another sub 15 from Peter, which is definitely sub 30 pace.
Yeah, exactly. Like, sub 14 is what you want, like, more than anything coming out of World 5, but sub 15 is super good for a race setting, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Alright, so Kumibito picking up the piece as well, at least, coming out of World 5. There's really, you know, that didn't cause too much of a separation. It definitely did cause quite a dent, but really only, you know, 25 seconds were shed on tower, so...
We're still doing a lot better than last race.
Yeah, no doubt. This is definitely still a lot closer than last race. And Peter goes for a lot of tricky stuff in World 6 and 7, so there is a chance that we'll see some miscues here. But he nails Opera, which is awesome.
Redemption arc?
No doubt, no doubt. Cliffs is definitely going to be the next one that's can go either way sometimes. It's a very tricky strat that Peter goes for there. I'm interested, obviously, you know, Opera, I think most people would agree, in a race setting, might be the hardest stage in World 6 because it's just so easy to mess up that adjustment and lose so much time to it. So I'm really hoping Kumibito can clean it up here and make his way through it. But he did have a perfect World 6 and 7 last run for his strats, so hopefully he can run that right back and do it again. We got Peter on Cliffs here. Nails it. Nice.
And it's interesting that both these players decide to go over on Opera because there is an adjustment that lets you go under, and they pretty much get the exact same IGT to the frame. It's really just a player's preference.
Yeah, no doubt. It's cool to see. You know, races are obviously always so cool to see, like especially when two players are even, to see the slight differences they choose on stages, just purely from a preference standpoint.
That's one of the nice things about this game is, like, you know, when something for, you know, Super Mario 64, for example, they're very set movement and strats that you need to do to get specific cycles, to get specific times you want. But since this game is really just about moving a marble from point A to point B as fast as possible, there are a lot of little things that can happen.
No doubt.
That really distinguish a player from another.
That Switch Inferno, I don't know if you saw that goal on Switch Inferno, but that was really crazy.
Yeah, the glitch goals, or at least the party ball kind of being nice to Peter, seems to be a theme right now for the game.
Yeah, no doubt. Opera last run. Wow, that folders. Holy moly.
That was honestly brilliant save.
Yeah, it was. The slowdown.
That was great awareness.
Yeah, the slowdown there was incredibly, like, well-placed. Just really smart to go for that to save it. Oh, Kumibito passes through the goalpost on Detour. You could kind of see it happening, but it still hurts to see.
Yeah. That's one of those where, like, if you really want to, you can blame the game, but, like, it's kind of your fault. But if you want to, you can be like, screw this game.
It's like you probably should have gotten it anyway, but at the same time, you know, you could have done that a little bit better, right?
Yeah.
Peter nailing Spiral Bridge again. So far, these runners are 3 for 3 on Spiral Bridge. That is awesome to see.
Too easy.
Too easy. Truly. Wow, 53-13 wavy option because he rode the edge a little bit there. Got a little speed bump off of that. It's a really fast time on wavy option.
See if we can get a nice folders first cycle. You know, I noticed last time Wii slowed down even though he got a nice hit. So I don't know if Wii's particularly comfortable with the different situations presented by folders to get first cycle.
Yeah, it's definitely the kind of stage where if you're not like 1,000,000% sure that you're gonna get the cycle, it's sometimes smarter to just play it safe and take the, you know, 2.5 second loss. And Kumibito, based on, you know, the way he's been playing for these races so far, it wouldn't surprise me at all if that were his logic going into there. Oh, doesn't quite get the cycle on Spiral Bridge. That's a huge hit.
Very smart awareness, though, because if you're greedy and decide to go for that and don't get it, you're losing 20 seconds minimum instead of 10. So, you know, cutting his losses is pretty smart there.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those where you kind of have to know when to hold him and know when to fold him, and Kumibito doing a good job of knowing that he wasn't going to be able to get it there.
Absolutely.
All right, so Peter moving into the second half of World 7 here. I'm interested to see if he's going to go for the 50 bracelet strat again, because that one did kill him last run, which would be a good reason not to do it, you know, in his head, but also just because it's really hard.
Yeah.
Ooh, Kumabito barely getting goal on an obstacle there. That had me
we
nervous.
both had the same thought. We're like, ooh.
Yeah, that had me sweating.
Yeah.
Peter's setups on Hierarchy are always so scary to me. He goes so steep. It always freaks me out. So here we see 8 bracelets. Let's see what he decides to do here. He is going to do the 50 strat. Boosting looked good. Lineup looks good. That should be clean. Yeah, that was perfect.
Super clean.
Wow,
yeah.
That was perfect.
Textbook. And we see again a boosted quick turn. The reason why we're making such a big deal of him boosting, even though you see it on a lot of other stages, is because this stage is actually famously free. You can literally hold up on the stage and you get a free completion. However, Peter wanted to save every single second that he can, getting hit by that triangle. Oh my goodness.
Wow, that was amazing. So double spiral here, Peter, infamously very consistent at double spiral. You know, it's a stage that people oftentimes cite as being, you know, semi-random, but there are definitely things you can do to control it and make it more consistent, and Peter is one of the best players at doing so.
Absolutely.
So Kumabito, again, not super far behind, really. He's 3 stages behind because he does low manip Civ.
What happened with his up notch? That looked like he went slightly left of up.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there, but it didn't throw him off, which is awesome, because that is a stage where you definitely need to follow the cue pretty closely to make it work. So
yeah, to a T.
Oh, Monkey says we did that last race. Huh.
Interesting.
Maybe it's just to make that angle more consistent for him. Maybe it's just part of the setup he likes to do.
Yeah.
Interesting to see. All right, so we got Peter going into the back-to-back stretch of Momentum Entangled here, which is 2 very, very difficult strats back-to-back. Just some tight movement. They definitely look a little bit harder than they are. Momentum, not too bad, but it can be a little tricky sometimes. And as I say that, I'm glad it paid off. I'm glad I don't look like a fool.
Part of the hard thing about that start of Momentum is you can't ever be 100% sure on the collision you get in anything in Monkey Ball, especially in Momentum. So you always have to semi-react to the collision you get, and unfortunately he just quote-unquote guessed wrong on what he was gonna get there.
Yeah, that Entangled looked like it might have been a first frame, but it wasn't, which is really good to see. He caught the corner of the party ball, so I was worried he was gonna get a little bit trolled. Peter's Entangled Path setup is definitely one that can look like it's going to cut it close, but he's very consistent at it, so I can't criticize him for it, despite the fact that I do that stage a little bit differently.
Both players getting first cycle pistons. Definitely one of the tougher movement strats in the game. It's kind of a clear indicator of kind of like a mid-level player to a high-level player. You'll see that basically everyone in the top bracket plays that stage like that, but you're not going to see that often, if at really all, in the open bracket of this tournament.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It's definitely, I would say, the hardest stage in World 8. I think most people would probably agree that is some of the tightest movement in the game. And it's one of the only stages, actually, where you have to move on a wire quickly. Like, a lot of the wire stages in this game, either, you know, it's stuff like Curvy Option and Wavy Option, where you just pick a thick wire, or, you know, it's just you stay on a wire for a little bit of time. That's one of the only ones where you have to stay on a wire for an extended period of time and move quickly, so it can be really tricky.
Kind of getting robbed there. We've been talking about how Peter's been getting some nice party ball action, and WikiMobito kind of getting robbed there, but second try, no problem.
Yeah, again, you know, I think that happened last run, right, where we said he's doing a really good job of not, you know, letting any stage really kill him, other than Tower. That's been the only, I think that's the only stage that's killed him more than once, and it's done it both runs, which is kind of interesting to see.
Oh, 20 back up.
Wow.
I do not even know this. This is pulling info. Okay, Peter deciding, I don't really know what's going on, and he finished the stage. That's all that matters.
Yeah, exactly. Doing some science fiction backups there. Definitely some new knowledge.
And, you know, even though we has been keeping this a lot closer, Peter is actually ahead of where he was last time on an even better 29 pace compared to last run.
Which kind of speaks to Kumabito's improvement between runs, honestly.
Absolutely.
Man, I know we've said it a bunch, but Kumabito's menuing is actually terrifying. he gets the third frame, I swear, every time.
Oh, man.
Maybe it's just so optimal that it's scary, but man, is it scary.
Yeah. Because that one frame is the difference between moving on and losing like 15 seconds.
Exactly. So, like we said last run, World 9, definitely one of the comfier parts of the run. Especially for Peter, who obviously is just a very seasoned player, especially in World 9. So hopefully Peter can just get through here nice and clean, and then we'll see the final boss, World 10. Hopefully he can knock it down with no problems. Oh, gets a weird clip on chip pipes there. Let's see if he can bounce back. Oh!
Oh,
wow.
2-for-2 I feel like that was partly due to the fact that he took that second wall so harsh. So for those who don't know, basically the closer you change directions against walls, the riskier you can have them. You can either get a lot of speed from them, or you can kill all your speed. And unfortunately, because he was playing those walls a little riskier, he killed his speed and made him go a little slower than he wanted to.
Exactly. And that, just has a ripple effect. When your speed isn't exactly what you think it is, it has a ripple effect through the entire strat, and it can oftentimes throw you off just enough to miss. But again, this race is not nearly as lopsided as the last one. I think when Peter was on Orbiter's last run, Kumibito was just entering World 9. So definitely closing the gap a little bit. And like we said last run, and like you should remember for this entire tournament, World 10 is such a deciding factor. Like, you can have a 1-minute lead going into World 10, and it can just vanish in an instant.
Yep, you got so many pause strats that are multi-frame perfect, so many movement strats that, can trip up your favorite Super Monkey Ball 2 player.
No doubt. Oh, wow! Kumibito also getting a clip bounce on chip pipes and going over the goal just like Peter did. Twice!
Yeah, he's going so far to the right. That's
is.
happening because, you want to land on a flatter part so that you can get a higher bounce, but the fact that he's landing on, geez Louise, on such a, diagonal part of the stage is why he's just kind of getting straight, sent down instead of, like, having more height.
Yeah, no doubt. Oh, Peter almost getting the craziest corks. I think it would have been like a high 0.6 or a low 0.7 if he had gone in the goal, but just barely gets rejected by the party ball, or by the goalpost, rather. I'm just really hoping Kumibito can finish up the rest of World 9 strong, and we get to see another World 10 decider in this tournament. That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
And Peter getting ready to go into Gimmick, which is definitely, I might argue the hardest strat in all of World 10, I think. I think I'd be willing to make that argument. It's a really difficult 5-frame pause strat with a really difficult adjustment on top. And it's definitely the gatekeeper of World 10. Like, once you get past Gimmick, it's a huge sigh of relief. And he does mess up the second frame there. Not the end of the world, not as bad as messing up one of the later frames, but hopefully he can bounce back and get a second try. Oh, he's doing some weird backups.
That came out of his patootie.
Seriously.
I don't even know that. I've never even seen that. I don't even know what he did.
Yeah, that backup is one of the ones that you see the least often. He did that and the warp backup that you don't see very often. So Peter definitely pulling out some deep game knowledge. Yeah,
kind of showing, as Block said earlier, he's really kind of the most active Super Monkey Ball 2 player right now.
Yeah.
And I'm glad his knowledge is showing that with his experience.
Yeah, and I think that, knowing backups is obviously really important in doing PB attempts because, they can save your run, but especially in races, knowing your backups, because every death is so costly in a race. Knowing your backups can really be the difference between an L and a dub, and Peter definitely chasing this dub right now.
Facts. Leading the way.
So again, heading into this closing stretch here, these last 5 stages, definitely infamous for killing some really, really good runs. So Peter's just got to hit that pause button really well, move that stick really well, and he'll be chilling. Wow, he one-paused the last 2 frames of Labyrinth. That was swag.
That was disgusting.
That was swag. And Kumibito, unfortunately, messing up on Gimmick twice. Misses the first frame and the second frame on back-to-back attempts. So losing some crucial time to Gimmick here. Hopefully he can get a second try. Going for the 11 set.
The comfiest frame.
Definitely the comfiest frame. And he's out of Gimmick, which is good. That's definitely the first step.
Dang, all these one pauses from Peter showing his confidence in timing.
Peter is pausing like an absolute boss right now. And if he plays perfectly from here, I think this will still 29 just by a little bit.
It will. It will. 29 5x, absolutely.
Yeah, we might see the back-to-back 29s in round 1 of the tournament. That would be a statement for everybody else in bracket. That really would be. Yeah, for everybody else in bracket, that would be I'm the 1 seed. Come get me. You know, that would be dominant.
See you in finals.
Exactly. Exactly. So he is
got 15. Now he just has to get 91.
He's got it.
Oh.
Does a really comfy adjust, takes a really deep clip there to make it more consistent. Almost party balls, but barely sneaks in. And he is 1 created by away from getting the double 29 to win. That would be incredibly impressive. Looks like a good setup here. Dropping it. Oh, that's perfect.
Comfy?
That's perfect.
That's right. Wow.
29-55. Wow.
Wow.
Absolutely dominant performance. And, you know, that's not to say that Kumibito didn't play well, because Kumibito is right behind him. He's going into Postmodern. Kumibito, you know, for having a PB 2 minutes worse than Peters on the leaderboard, like, to keep up this much against a 29 run is crazy. Like, Kumibito is playing so well, especially when you consider, you know, all the time he lost to like, Tower alone. You know?
Yeah. Like, 20, 30 seconds both races.
Yeah. Wow. This was as good of a match as I could have hoped for the first round.
I will say shoutouts to Weekly Vito's movement on Postmodern, getting very nice times, getting 35s both times.
Yeah, that was sweet. That was sweet. So I guess I was wrong. Maybe he just doesn't pause that stage, which is interesting.
Yeah, maybe. Well, that is interesting. You know, it would be interesting to know if, like, 3 frames is his limit, because we've only really seen 3 frame strats from him, and Postmodern is 4 frames.
Yeah, exactly.
So it'd be interesting to know if that's kind of like the line he draws for himself.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point, because he doesn't do Labyrinth either, and he doesn't do Warp. Those are the other you know, big 4-frame strats.
Yeah.
Wow, that was something else. Kumibito playing extremely well. Like, he's on solid 31 pace here, which, you know, when your PB is a 30-17, a mid-31 is so good in a race. Playing almost within a minute of your PB is impressive.
That's equivalent pretty much to what, you know, Peter got. He's about a minute and a half off his time, and if Kumibito gets this first try, he's going to be a minute and a half off of his PB.
Yeah, it looks like a good setup. It's clean. It's perfect. Wow, dude.
Wow.
These were some awesome races.
Great gameplay from both players.
Yeah, I think they both played absurdly well. This is all there is to say. Kumibito definitely had some trip-ups in the first run, but he really polished himself up for the second run, and I think 3140 is just about as good as you can ask for. So, you know, it wasn't enough to get past Peter, because it's really hard to beat somebody who just whips out 229s. Like, that's so hard to beat.
Yeah, like, what are you going to do, whip out 228s? No.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's just not going to happen.
Exactly. Like we say, Peter played absurdly well and got 2 high 29s. It's like Kumibito not only, you know, isn't as active as Peter, and his PB isn't as strong as Peter's. So to expect him to be able to beat that is just kind of outlandish.
Yeah, he basically just beat his PB 2 races in a row. Like, there's not a whole lot you can do from Wii at that point.
Exactly. Yeah, that is, you know, all that I could hope for this round 1. You know, definitely 1 seed versus the 8 seed can provide some lopsided races, but these were really close for the majority of it, and to see Peter come out and throw out 229s, like I said, that is a statement. To anybody in top bracket, myself included, that is scary. Because he is waiting, he plays the winner of me and Moyashi, and he's in a good spot to just dismantle whoever comes up and faces him.
We're going to see if Peter wants to get a little interview action going on.
That would be awesome. I'd love to pull him in here for an interview.
But yeah, wow, again, you know, like I said earlier in this race, there are only 10 people in the world who have a sub 30, and I cannot emphasize enough how impressive it is. Especially the first race, when you know they're feeling the nerves, that they want to perform for you guys. Peter pulling out a 29, just, you know, really setting the bar for this tournament.
No doubt. That is, yeah, like you said, that's the best bar you can possibly set. It's like, we all have to live up to that now. I have to pull out 29s now? Are you kidding me? All right, we've got Peter on the line here, ready for an interview. How does it feel to just have stricken fear into the heart of everybody else in this bracket by getting back-to-back 29s in the opener?
I had fun. I enjoyed. I kind of had fun with some of the strats I went for. I wanted to shake off the nerves because it was like any other tourney. No matter who you're facing, I don't know. People are watching. It's a bit shaky. There were some deaths that I took. There were some that I could almost guarantee you'll never see on my streams. Like I saw some chip pipe deaths. Opera adjustment? No. That's in the past.
There were some interesting outcomes for sure, and even some of the completions were really exciting. Like with that quick turn on the second race was amazing. That was amazing.
It's like the 5th time I've messed up boosted quick turn and then got boosted into the goal and saved some time. That's really funny. I gotta keep doing that. I gotta capitalize on that time save.
So something that I noticed early on that I wanted to ask about to get the exact detail on or your take on, I noticed you pretty much didn't hold back on anything. Was your game plan coming in pretty much just do the fastest thing on every stage and hopefully I don't miss any of them?
Yeah, my tourney plan is to not do anything I wouldn't do on a PB pace run.
Wow.
So just all the strats I would do in attempts I'm gonna do during this tourney.
Yeah.
But I probably wouldn't do, just like how on a good pace I wouldn't do boosted quick turn. During a, there are certain things that have to be dropped out for consistency, but mostly just attempt strats.
Yeah, it was really impressive to see you basically just throw yourself at everything and for everything to go well. That was amazing.
I got collision twice on swing shaft, and I got blocked both times.
Yeah, that was so sad.
I didn't even pause that. That's my patented special.
Yeah, that was sad.
Yeah. You'd rather, get that at a GDQ, though, than
I guess.
during
Whatever.
this race. So, whatever. So how did I was saying, as soon as you got Curve Bridge, were you like, all right, we're in this, I know I got this? Because I know first race, especially in the Curve Bridge, you're probably feeling a little nervous, right?
Dude, Curve Bridge is still hard in races. Like, there are more backups than ever, and I'm more practiced on that stage than ever, but it's still ridiculous. I just need to get it. Get me out of this world.
Yeah,
it's horrible,
you got, I believe, 247 and 241, respectively, in Race 1 and Race 2, which is, like, I don't think we can possibly overestimate how amazing that is. 241 in a race, like, come on. That's just unfair.
I was talking about how that literally matches my gold.
I mean, it was the rookie set, right? That one's really fast.
Yeah,
and then I 3-pause spinning top. My friend, what's his face, has been telling me to learn more of those frames.
Indeed.
And I got like the really nice set too. So spinning top and curve bridge really carried that one with good frame sets. Yeah, but that's not what I wouldn't do in an attempt. Like curve bridge, I wasn't pausing dangerously. I was pausing it as confidently as I can.
Yeah.
Without being dumb. Like, I wasn't trying to one-pause things, but I was... Well, I guess I was. 06 is my frame.
Dude, you were one-pausing all over the place at the end of the last World 10. Was that purposeful, or was it just
live the
stars
World 10 PB on the first run. I was on World 10 PB.
No, we were talking about the second run.
That second run.
You one-paused... Yeah, you
so
one-paused 31 and 18 on Labyrinth, and then you one-paused 41 on Postmodern as well. We were sitting here, we were like, oh my god, this guy is pausing like a madman.
Okay, I don't know what happened on that Labyrinth, but I kind of was just like trying to do that again on Postmodern. But the first run, I wanted that World 1 world record, and Invisible killed it. Dang. Unfortunate. Not World 1 world record, sorry, that's a habit I like talking about. Did I say World 1 world record? Because I meant World 10 PB.
Yeah, I think that's
I talk about World 1 world record too often. Anyway, I wanted like a 307 or something, because the pausing was really good up to that point.
True.
Yeah, World 10 was good. World 10's what you need to be good during tournaments too.
Exactly. That's what we were saying. Every time you went into it, we was always, 4 or 5 stages behind, and it was like, this lead really, 2 mistakes on gimmick. Yeah, 2 mistakes on gimmick, and it's totally gone at that point.
Late gimmick mistakes, and it's over, so World 10's important to play well.
Yeah, so who are you, I have to ask for going forward, who would you say that you are most scared of in this bracket?
That I would likely face, or out of everyone?
Out of everybody. Who strikes most fear into you?
I haven't seen Moyashi lose a tournament, so that's high up for me.
And that is your projected, assuming that the seeds work out. That is your projected match in the semifinals next round.
Perhaps, but I think Glock's playstyle is consistency, which pays off very well in these tournaments. So I expect to see basically the sickest match of this entire channel's career coming up when that goes on, because I really can't say who's going to win that.
Monday
Which is to say,
at
I would
10
also be afraid
a.m.
of you,
Eastern.
Glock, equally to Moyashi.
Thank you. Monday at 10 Eastern is the official time of that match between me and Moyashi. I don't, obviously I'm biased, but I think it's going to be one of the best matches of the tournament. Our PBs are 5 seconds apart, and I've never been in the tournament before, and he has been the tournament god thus far, so it's definitely, there's some dynamics there at play.
Tournaments are Moyashi's payday, so far anyway, so,
Right.
gotta keep it. He's gotta continue the streak. And Taco, I've been convinced by you I should be very afraid of.
Yeah,
You
Taco.
talk a lot about how you think Taco's gonna win.
Okay, wow.
I think the reason why I think he's gonna do really well this tourney is because I think he's close to a PB. Like I think he's gonna be playing PB attempts deep into the run.
Yeah,
That's the problem. It's not just he's consistent. I think he's gonna be on PB pace runs.
Yeah, one of the main reasons why I've been so, adamant on Taco being such a strong contender for this race is he raced Moyashi recently. I don't know if everybody has been aware of this, but him and Moyashi raced recently. They did a friendly competition race just a week ago on Monday, and Taco, prior to the run, did 3 no resets as practice, like last minute practice, and he got a 29.06, 29.40, and 29.50 in those runs respectively. And then in the races, he got a 29.10 and a 29.50. So I watched him over the course of 3 hours get 5 29s in a row and 2-0 Moyashi, quickly dispatching him.
No, he's got that energy. He's gonna PB in a turn. Is what he's gonna do.
He just might.
that's what we should be afraid of. 28s.
Yeah, and
they might show up. Either we're gonna see a 28 this tourney. By the way, that's a guaranteed.
Yeah, I believe.
Oh,
I wouldn't be surprised at all with the way you played today, and Taco being as consistent as he is, and Complex obviously being such a strong. There's just so many strong players. If anybody doesn't get a 28, I would be surprised.
All it takes is one person to either just get it together in the late game, or just happen to be on a decent pace, like deep into like World 6 or something.
No
if
doubt.
that happens, they can just no reset 28. Why not?
It's true.
That's also why I'm afraid of Complex. I'm afraid of anyone if they have momentum. I don't know how. It depends on how well they're playing today. If Complex always talks about sleep. If he's well rested, I'm doomed. If Tacos get on PB pace, I'm doomed. If Moyashi, doesn't die as Moyashi does, I'm doomed. If Glock gets his world record run, third my race, I'm doomed. If Alist was in the tourney, I'm doomed. It's exciting though. I like tourneys. I was very nervous during this race. It was a rush.
Well,
awesome.
That's awesome.
Sorry about the drop frames, by the way. I was at 1400 bitrate and I dropped like 2000.
That's
over the course of this.
That is perfectly fine. The drop frames were actually almost all at the front end of race 1, like World 3 of race 1. After World 4 of race 1, you actually had no problems whatsoever. It was really clean from then on.
Nice.
But yeah, thank you so much for the interview. Thank you so much for playing as well as you did. I'm very scared now to live up to this bar. But I think this was as good of an opener as we can ask for. So thank you for bringing home the W, and hopefully I can take down Moyashi and see you in quarterfinals, or in semifinals rather.
Well, good luck. I'd love to face off against some pals in the quarter semi finals as well. Yeah, I want to see everyone there. All Complex, Glock, Alist. I want to see Helix and Nambo and everyone. We should all tie for world record at the same time.
There's actually also one more dynamic that I haven't mentioned yet that's really important, I think, is that all of the quarterfinal matches, this being the first one of the top bracket, are North America versus Japan. We have Peter versus Wikumibito, me versus Moyashi, Complex versus Uinu, and Helix versus Taco. So it's all 4 matches are JP versus NA. So it's really, on top of being just a collection of the best players, also kind of a battle of East versus West, which is really interesting. So thanks for bringing one home for the American boys and the Canadian
exciting.
boys.
Oh yeah, I feel like last return ended up like tying up, but like then Moyashi would end up winning. Like I feel like there were a lot of really cool like NA versus JP matches that ended up being surprising and exciting. Even Llama held his own against Taco once, which is pretty cool.
Well, anyway. Thank you again. This was awesome. This was awesome. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, Alist, for being such a great co-com.
Always my pleasure.
And thank you, Peter, for putting on such a good show.
Aye. GG's.
And with that, I will end the stream.